show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch. Creation is an act of sheer will. Life will find a way.
Hello and welcome to the road to Jurassic World Dominion. What do you want to watch is look back at the massive dinosaur franchise that taught people the difference between a Compsognathus and a Pachycephalosaurus and showed us that life finds a way. I'm Ashley Hobley, your host for this expedition, and joining me on this trek to Isle Nublar and beyond is Dylan Blight.
The dinosaurs and they come, yeah.
Was that your Jeff Goldblum impression?
Yeah.
All right, please be aware for this week. All right, well, this week we're talking about the second Jurassic Park film, The Lost World Jurassic Park, which is an odd titling and something that we don't see often anymore, where you put the name for the new film and then put the old film behind it.
Yeah. I think it's because the book was called The Lost World.
Yeah, but you could have called it Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Yeah. I think I don't know if there's any truth to this, but if I was to guess, I would assume that Spielberg was happy to just adapt it as The Lost World because the book's titled Lost World, and then the studio was like, "Man, no one's gonna know what that shit is." So then at the last minute,
nobody's gonna know that this movie with the exact same star from Jurassic Park, starring a bunch of dinosaurs, is related to that movie. Yeah. So
then at the last second, they were like, fuck, Jurassic Park." Because in reality, by the time you get to Jurassic Park World, it should have been called World Jurassic Park.
3 Jurassic Park, yeah.
Yeah, 3 Jurassic Park, yeah.
All right, please be aware we will be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot, themes, and ending of this film. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. With that said, let's jump to a discussion of The Lost World Jurassic Park.
Mommy! Daddy! I found something!
A British family on a yacht cruise stumbled upon Site B.
And now it's only a matter of time before this lost world is found and pillaged.
Hopefully we've kept this island quarantined and contained, but I'm in shock about all this.
Isn't it great?
Ooh, that's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
The hell was that?
Go. As fast as you can.
Directed by Steven Spielberg, screenplay by David Koepp, based on The Lost World by Michael Crichton, starring Jeff Goldblum, Julianne Moore, Postlethwaite, Arliss Howard, Vince Vaughn, Richard Schiff, Vanessa Leicester, and Richard Attenborough. John Hammond summons chaos theorist Ian Malcolm to his home with some startling information. While nearly everything in his Jurassic Park had been destroyed, his engineers happened to have a second site where other dinosaurs were kept in hiding. It seems the dinosaurs on the second island are alive and well and even breeding, and Hammond wants Malcolm to observe and document the reptiles before Hammond's financiers can get to them. Dylan, what are your memories of Jurassic World? The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
There you go. Yeah, I used to so as I said that week, the trilogy I watched a lot. I definitely watched this one, the second. I would say in order, I watched the first one the most, second one the second most, and the third one the least. Although I knew someone in my family when I was younger, like someone who was a couple years older than me, what do you call it? Like it was like someone who used to be in my family. It was like a stepmom's son, but then they split up, so like we're not related anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Estranged?
some sort of anyway. Yeah, strange, I guess. Anyway, like this kid used to love Jurassic Park 3. Absolutely loved it. So I had to hear about that a lot when I was younger. Anyway, side story. The I quite enjoy this one. And again, as I said, like I've definitely got sort of rose tinted glasses for some of these because I liked them as a kid. I would say that none of the movies ever capture the same magic that the first film does, and that's just something you sort of have to accept and sort of find the good and the bad and everything that comes after it. I think this movie is slow to start. I think everything once they get on the island, maybe for that first half hour or so, the T-Rex like chasing them off, pushing the caravan off the side, all of that scared the living shit out of me as a kid. The shot that actually I think I mentioned the other week, the one that scared me the most in this is actually the shot of the waterfall when all the blood comes down once the old mate runs through it, and then the T-Rex like bites him and then the blood like just comes through the waterfall. That scared the living shit out of me as a kid. That for some reason that shot would like haunt me. That waterfall moment for some reason. I also think I guess it was good.
There's
the
a lot of
T-Rex
blood
is,
in this
trying
movie.
to bite. Yeah, this movie is actually, I think, scarier and gorier than the first one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the first one, but I always found it's the scariest of the trilogy as a kid. This one scared the shit out of me way more. The T-Rexes in this one scared me more than the Velociraptors did in the first film. But yeah, I think that whole sequence there for the first, that half-hour sequence of the T-Rex and stuff is when this movie's sort of at its best. And then afterwards, it's like, whatever. I could, it's fine. Like I enjoy it. I just don't feel like it has a consistent quality to it. And it definitely doesn't have the magic that the first one does. I actually don't mind the cast though. Like I enjoy Vince Vaughn in this. Like he's not doing anything special, but like it's fine for that part. And Julianne Moore's like quite good for her part. And I think the other problem is that Jeff Goldblum, maybe at this time in his career, maybe it's just the character, like him compared to Sam Neill in the first one, like he just doesn't have that lead character sort of X factor to it. So and you sort of feel that in this movie, I think. But yeah, I still overall enjoy it. Enjoy the way it moves the lore of the franchise forward. And I hate the ending though. I'll say that that's a part I quite often, I think my mind tries to forget, which is where they bring a fucking dinosaur back to Manhattan or wherever the fuck they are. Like I nearly always forget that's a thing that happens in this movie because the movie like ends and you're like, oh, and there's got like 20 minutes, half an hour left because they come all the way back to humanity with that dinosaur, and that whole part's just gibberish. Like I don't care for any of that. So
yeah, I remember obviously watching this as a kid, and I found it quite. There's obviously the section where he goes to visit John Hammond, and talk about the island and everything. To me, that lasted forever. It felt like they were talking for 15, 20 minutes of just that scene.
It's not that long.
It's not that long. It's actually very brief. So, your mind plays tricks of you as a kid. You would just want to get to the exciting bit where they're dinosaurs and stuff. I liked it. I thought it's obviously, I think it's probably better than I remember it because, there's not all that boring stuff. But, yeah, it's obviously more gory and action focused rather than kind of the majestic, like there's none of that majesty that you had in the first one where everybody's kind of excited to be there. It's all, hey, we're checking on these dinosaurs.
Julianne Moore, I feel like,
I guess, yeah,
sure.
And I could not remember anybody who was in the cast in this movie, so it was very much surprising when Julianne Moore popped up and when Vince Vaughn popped up, who I definitely didn't remember being in this movie. But yeah, it very, it's much more action orientated than I think the other one is. But even the action, I don't think is well paced out. There's like it has very slow opening. You get the big T-Rex thing, then you get another slow build, and it's like action scene, action scene, action scene, action scene, boat trip, action scene.
Yeah. I mean, this movie thinks it's King Kong, or thinks it's trying to do King Kong.
I mean, it's almost exactly King Kong when you think about it. They go to the island, deal with all these monsters, capture a monster, take it back to New York. Oh no, it escaped. And it escapes in the worst way possible. It's like terrible. It's like, oh no, we pushed a button. We didn't tie it down at all. We gave it drugs. We gave it drugs to make sure it was back away.
I've never figured out how it escapes either, because like they go into the cabin crew area of the ship. There's like someone's dude's hand like ripped up in there. Yet the T-Rex is still like captured or whatever. You know, so what? It escaped. It ate some people. It went back down under. Someone like pressed the close button. And
I
then died.
always assumed another dinosaur got on the boat that they never found.
It's either that or it's either that or nearly everyone dies, and when the T-Rex goes back under, someone in their last dying breath presses the close button on it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like that's the only way it really makes sense.
Well, like yeah,
and the T-Rex is scared of water. Apparently.
Or they were dying, and then they started the boat, and they just went in a straight line straight to, and managed to hit that harbor. You know, freaking weird. Well, seeing as we're at the ending, I kind of like the Manhattan stuff. I mean, it's very cheesy and like, but it is amusing to see a T-Rex like going into a suburban home and drinking. It's not Manhattan. It's not actually Manhattan. It's San Diego, isn't it? So.
Fuck if I know. I actually think in retro, like now that I'm thinking about it more, I think maybe one of the reasons I like Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and then Jurassic World Dominion, I think that the whole reason those films, like in my mind, I'm just like, I don't really care too much about those is because, mate, I really hated the dinosaurs in the real world stuff for this film. So I think maybe subconsciously I've been like, no, why the fuck do I care for that? Like, yeah, Jurassic Park to me is the island. It's the park. It's I mean, it's not even the.
There's
Jurassic
a means
World,
of escape.
Park. It's the island. It's just the dinosaurs are on the island. I don't need them. Like bringing them back is just too King Kong to me. You know, it's just too much King Kong. And even that
you just
really
wait till the end of
Godzilla
this next movie when King Kong jumps in. It turns out that it's a setup to.
Have you seen P. Jackson's
set
King
up
Kong?
to Godzilla versus Kong versus dinosaurs? Yes, I saw.
P. Jackson's
Yes.
King? Okay, what are your thoughts on that film?
It's fine. It's like it was pretty long and boring to a certain degree.
So you actually like it. So maybe that's why I'm like, that's a better version of this movie.
But again, that also was like on that island for longer than
they're on that island for like 2 hours, and
Yeah.
then they come back for 45 minutes because it's a long movie. But
Yeah.
but I think like that's why it's paced out better because you have dinosaurs in that movie too.
yeah. But Kong beats the dinosaurs, you know.
It's true.
Yeah, save that for another time. Yeah, I will say the other thing that annoyed me was Jeff Goldblum's daughter, who I think is not a good actress. I know she's a kid, but I don't think it was a very good performance, especially compared to the first movie where at least they were annoying but likable. This little kid, no. I think she's doing crazy stuff all the time. It's like, why'd you stow away? Why? Makes no sense.
She said it was because she thought that Jeff Goldblum's character.
How did he not? How did he let her stow away? How did he not take her to the house where the friend was looking after him?
My favorite part is also that that trip would have taken like a week.
Yeah, a very long time.
And all they make out, they try to explain it by she ate like 10 packets of Twisties on that thing and somehow survived. It's like would have gone insane. Like,
yeah,
let alone hungry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give that girl a Game Boy.
Give her something,
Something,
I mean, she had the phone. She could have been calling anybody, I guess. Satellite phones. It's interesting, like the poaching element to it. I think that's kind of interesting, I guess. That they're trying to capture some of these dinosaurs, but none of the hunters are super interesting. It's kind of there's not really
they're
any
stereotypical hunter like characters, I guess.
Yeah, there's not many interesting characters in this. I think that's probably why Jeff Goldblum's like the person in the leading role, because his character has a built-in personality to him. But he's not like the action stoic hero that Sam Neill was in the first one. He's more of the sidekick everyman, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, like, because you haven't seen the third one, and when we
No.
watch the third one, it's like Sam Neill's back, and you're like, like, this is what a leading man of this franchise feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, Julianne Moore, she's solid, as the...
Yeah, I think she's good.
She's good.
Yes. I think she's one of the highlights.
Yeah. And then I liked Vince Vaughn as well, but maybe that's just because it's Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. As I said, he's not doing anything special, but I think like what he does, he's a likable enough character. Like he fucks up, he causes the T-Rex problem by bringing a fucking baby T-Rex back to the camp.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just leave it.
He's a likable sort of what do you call it?
He's an animal activist.
Animal activist, yeah, I guess that was
He literally takes the pellets out of the guy's gun.
Yeah.
And if he had had the shots, like, he could have maybe saved some of those people who got eaten. So, blood in his hands, really.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that annoys me, I know, I honestly feel like the last second, fuck, we better make sure velociraptors are in this. Like, it almost feels like the velociraptors in this are so disappointing compared to the first one that I'm like, just have a different dinosaur, Because I feel like the T-Rexes, right? They're still scary, and you get to see a lot of different stuff with them that you hadn't seen in the first film. And
yeah,
like the
the
T-Rex,
first one they had like a bit role. This one they had like a supporting.
They have
role.
a main role, and it's like good. And then the velociraptors, I feel like they're just not anywhere near as scary, or like, because they're trying to get off the island a lot faster. All their scenes are never as slow paced, thrilling as the first film. So I'm like, I feel like he kind of ruined them. Like, they're nowhere near as scary. And I mean, like, it's hard to complain about, because by the time you get to Jurassic World, of course, velociraptors are suddenly man's best friend. So, but I mean, like,
they're dogs.
Coming off the first, coming off this film, coming off the last film, the first film into this one, it's like, especially a week apart watching them, I was like, the velociraptors are kind of done dirty in this one. I feel they're nowhere near as like scary.
I mean, they kind of do all sorts of weird stuff. I mean, admittedly, one is taken out by a little girl doing gymnastics. So I mean, that's a hard one to take.
It's like the slowest like flip kick ever, and it goes flying so hard out the side of the building that it bursts for all this wood and everything.
This large dinosaur that probably weighs like twice the weight of this little girl.
At most, she would have like knocked it off that platform, maybe not all the way through the other side of the fucking building.
Yeah. But them digging through I think they're digging stuff into the cabin, like that was scary. It was a little bit.
There's that one shot where they go to crawl under the wood or whatever to get out the other side, and then the velociraptor like bursts through, like that's kind of cool. But yeah, that was a good jump scare. But I feel like in general, I just don't feel like they're. I almost wish they'd just been random over different dinosaurs here.
All right. Well, if you didn't like the velociraptors, who's this week's dinosaur MVP?
It's a T-Rex. I know. Last week I had like a weird answer. For the first film, I had like a, like a random shout out to the frilly neck thing or whatever. But it has to be the T-Rex. I mean, the T-Rexes are actually the stars of this movie, and I feel like that the scene that does it for me, haunt me forever. Not the waterfall, but the one I always like think about when I think of this film is actually Old Mate when he's trying to pull up the caravan, and then you just see those two T-Rexes just come in, Mama and Papa on the side there of the car, and I was like, oh yeah. But no, the T-Rex is definitely they are stars in this movie. Rip that car. Yeah. So T-Rexes get my vote for this film. Deserving.
Yeah, I think very deserving, the T-Rex. I'm gonna do the left field one. I'm gonna go with the one that I struggled. The Campsognathorus. So they're the little, like tiny dinosaurs.
That murder that little girl at the start of the movie.
No, apparently she's fine. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. Apparently she's fine. But yes,
murder
without them,
they
murder Peter Stormare brutally, chasing him down, ripping him bit by bit, blood trickling down that village, the river. But without them, like assaulting this little girl at the start of the movie, there's no movie. So
it's true.
Yeah, shout out.
I have my answer for next week, so I look forward to. I'll tell you. So Jurassic World onwards is where I don't have my answer pre-prepared. So I do have next week's pre-prepared.
Okay.
Just letting you know, but I'm not making these up as I go. The first three films are all And well, to be fair, I could change my mind. I haven't watched it yet, but
Yeah.
I'm going
You
in
have,
knowing
you,
what my
you
favourite
have a good idea of who it's going to be, but, things you change.
I have a good idea. Let me. I don't want to spoil the movie because you haven't seen it. But so Jurassic Park 3 has a main villain. It doesn't live up to it in my mind. So next week I will not be picking the main dinosaur. This week I did pick the main dinosaur. That is the T-Rex is the main, the poster child of this movie. Next week has a poster child dinosaur. It is not a T-Rex. It is not a Velociraptor. It is a different dinosaur. I just didn't like it. I'm picking something else. I'm picking something that's not the T-Rex. Not the main dinosaur.
Okay. I also want to shout out, a couple of things. Again, the Manhattan thing, I enjoyed the dinosaur drinking the water, but come on. Is it going to drink water from a chlorine pool and not think that's weird? Not react in any way? Also, I love the kid bringing his parents to come see the dinosaur. And the T-Rex is in the window with the dog kennel sticking out of it, just hanging from its teeth. Very amusing.
Dog dead.
Did you see the scene where they burst into a video shop? They burst into a video rental Blockbuster during one of the chases.
I mean, I might have forgot. But yeah, what about it?
So there's a bunch of movie posters. Fake movie posters, which I found quite amusing. So there's Jack and the Beanstalks, which has got Robin Williams and seems like it's a sequel to Jack. But with a bunch of little kids help him out or something. They've got Tom Hanks in Tsunami Sunrise, which looks like a surfing movie. And then the best one, you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger in an adaptation of William Shakespeare's King Lear. So
I don't know why they didn't do these things.
Yeah. Crazy.
Lucasfilm is fucking up.
I will say there's some crazy shit during that that chase. The dinosaur hits the side of a bus and a passenger hits the side of the bus and blows out half the bus. There's what's that bus made out of? Paper mache? Not possible. Anything else you want to talk about from The Lost World?
No, I don't think so.
No, yeah.
It's alright.
It's fine.
It's a decent movie. It's a fine movie.
It was nice to see the kids get a paycheck from the first movie.
Yeah, they don't look like they aged today, but this is filmed
5 years later.
Yeah, so... But they look exactly the same age, so... Crazy.
Maybe also
I'm surprised none of them have been back. They've brought those kids back.
Well, they never became big celebrities, so...
True, but...
You only come back if you're a big deal.
Days,
I mean, you got the main three, so I mean...
True, but I mean... Come on. I'll be disappointed if Dominion's the last one. Come on. Get the kids.
Get the kids.
That's who I'll be looking out for. I won't even recognize them because fuck knows what they look like these days. They'll show up on screen. I'll be like, who the fuck are they?
Yeah.
Hey, kids.
Was the reason the hunter wanted the cub just for pride, or was he doing something for somebody? Do you think?
What cub?
The hunter who wanted to get the T-Rex.
Oh, he just wants a T-Rex for his own hunting thing. Yeah.
I thought maybe it was had something to do with the other shady business.
No. The shady business is they just want the dinosaurs to take to their own park.
That's true,
and
yeah.
That's the whole shady business. Because the good guys, and this guy is actually Hammond keeping the park closed, and then the InGen or whatever their name is wants the dinosaurs to reopen a park. That's the bad guy plot.
All right. Let us know what you thought of The Lost World Jurassic Park. Terribly named movie. By going to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter or jump into our Discord at explosionnetwork.com/Discord. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or tell people about the show, or leave us 5 stars anywhere that you can leave 5 stars. And if you like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Kofi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.